It's my birthday and I'll do what I want to. Buy fish if I want to, and I would buy two if I had money to buy fish. Yes, Sumi, what is going on? I know we have a long time before we go live. Oh, you got eye boogers. Come on, let's get rid of those eye boogers. Oh, yeah. Let's make you look regal and beautiful for the people. Yeah, we got some time before we go live, my dear. So, let's just hang out. Let's just have some me and you time. Just the two of us. Oh, nah, let's not do that. Let's do a little weirder. We're kind of weirder people, aren't we? Yeah. 'Cause I'm an alligator. I'm a mama papa coming for you. I'm a space invader. I'll be a rock and rolling kid for you. So keep your mouth shut. You're squawking like a pink monkey bird. And I'm beating my brains up for the words. So keep your electric eye on me, Sumi. Put your ray gun to my head. Press your space close to mine, love. Freak out in a moon age daydream, oh yeah. Oh, we're live. Holy moly. Why didn't you tell me, Sumi? Come on. Oh boy. This is what I get for talking to my cat on my birthday. What is going on, everybody? How are we doing? I am a bum. Yep, that's what I dressed up as for my birthday. And if I had fingerless gloves, I'd be wearing them because it's actually like 28 degrees today. It's cold. Actually, I think it's like maybe 35 now. But this morning, boy, was it icy. Icy, icy, icy. So every year, I like to do a little thing called You're Getting Closer to Death. No, your birthday stream. And I just kind of like to look at the range of like my affiliates and also just, the scope of my dreams and, perhaps like what I would buy if I could buy anything, if I could keep any fish and just kind of chat with you guys. I mean, we can still ask whatever questions you want, whatever you guys want to do, I'm here to do. But I also just kind of like to do one kind of stream at least once a year, if not maybe like twice a year, where we just kind of talk about like the what ifs. And like I'll go first. No, yeah, obviously, because this is my birthday. I do whatever I want, obviously. What's going on, though? First, I want to say hello to some of y'all friends in here. We got Aquarium Fantasy. Hello, welcome. Sketty Nona. We've got Gary Stein. What's going on? We've got Anna Taymond, what's going on? Good to see you. Welcome. Rigsby, what's up? Critter Style. It's Sumi, S with the S. Sumi as in Sumi ink, like ink drops, ink blots in Japanese artwork. Charles, we and 4445. Hello. How are you? Hens and Fins. Love the name. Macaronophone. Macaronophone. Hey, Macaronophone. Welcome. Come on in. Carson Fram. Hello. Good to see you. It's obviously I'm biased, but I really do really appreciate, because on StreamYard I get to see when people are members. Like I think the $1.99, or I think if you get it through Apple it's more, but whatever, for YouTube membership. And it just it makes me so happy. I know some of y'all are higher than that too, and I am so grateful for all of it. But I like it when I see like every third or fourth one of y'all is like green. That's a good just thank you. I'm so grateful, and I'm grateful for my birthday every year. And I've really made a point of a few things in life that, we'll get away from the aquarium for just a moment. But one is to never be bored, and one is to never forget to be grateful, to be gracious. And, modesty is another one. But at the same time, I've struggled for my entire life with taking pride in and claiming what is your creation or what is your doing. And so those three things have been kind of things I've been working on in myself. And I know we kind of never did a New Year's like, hey, what have you been working on for the hobby and for whatever? But, sometimes I like to just kind of expound upon Alex a little bit live. And I know I haven't been making a ton of content. But I am in the backgrounds working on all sorts of interesting content that will probably kind of hit the channel kind of, I don't know, kind of crazy, I think. I think it'll probably, I mean, I could space it out like a normal, sane human being and just be like, oh, sweet, I've got some work cut out for me, or work already not cut out. That analogy doesn't make sense. So if you're saying, oh, I've got some work cut out for me ahead to get this stuff finished, but it will be a good thing when it is finished because then I'll have a backlog. What would it be? Not cut out? Would it be no longer cut out? It would be in the pages. I'm not going to overthink the analogy. Anyways, I already have. My my point being is that there are times when I have like 5 or 6 episodes that are almost finished, and yet I can't seem to get any single one freaking all the way to the hoop. But other times it's the other way around, where you guys have probably seen on the channel where I drop 3 or 4 videos in a week and like 6 shorts and 3 lives, and I'm just like manically producing stuff. Although that hasn't been the case really in the last year. I've till the last really the last 4 months, my goal was 2 lives, 2 videos, if not 1 deep dive a week, and then a couple shorts. But now I'm making sure to be working on shorts because I've realized that there's so many stories that I was saying, I've got about 5 minutes worth of stuff to say and I could easily make it 10 minutes worth of stuff, but I don't know where I'm going to find the footage. And it's been driving me nuts in my mind. Like, oh, I don't have video or I don't have photos of that fish that's in this paper that's, recently described or discovered. But I just realized, that's perfect content then for a short. Is like, I will give you, maybe I only have like 5 or 6 photos of the fish, or whatever they published in the announcement of, the discovery. And maybe that's fine. Maybe that's enough for the short. And then I can tell you a little bit about, what we do know thus far. But anyways, I was going down the list. Madam Lacrimosa, hello. John Smith, hello as well. Horrible warning. Thank you for the happy birthday. And also, I like all the colors in your pic, your profile avatar, whatever pic, the picture, your portraiture. But also like the name, definitely. Moteb 208, what's up? Mike, what's up? Who else snuck in here? J Man Hatch, what is going on? Good to see you. Also, we've got I don't know how to say it. Ildiaghane. Hello. And Jeff Kane has another new name. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, Old Fire. I know. I'm working on year 39. I went to the store and I go, can I get a scratch ticket? It's my birthday. And she goes, is it your actual birthday or like is tomorrow or today, yesterday or whatever your birthday? And I was like, well, yeah, it's my actual, like this was yesterday. My actual birthday was the 19th. But I was like, yeah, it's today. And she's like, oh, okay. I still have to card you. I was like, to see if I'm 18? How old do you think I am? How old do you think I'm turning? And she's like, I don't know, 28. And I was like, okay, whatever. Here's my ID. Card me. But yeah. Anyhow, girl 88, hello, welcome, come on in. And FR, is that Fritz Haber? It could be Fritz Haber, as in the guy who figured out all the Haber reaction, Haber-Bosch reaction, and the how to make nitrogen out of atmospheric nitrogen, how to make nitrates, nitrites, ammonia. Pretty incredible stuff. So I have a groundbreaking statement that I'm going to make that was made in a group recently. Thank you, Sketty. I am grateful that I have 9 lives as well. I think we're probably at like life 5 or something. So, and I don't know which way we're going. It's probably right in the middle, one of the ways we're going. But yeah. Also, thank you so much, Peplin Creek. That is so kind of you to do the super sticker. I really do appreciate that. What a lovely, we got the first birthday gift of the day. Thank you so much. And also, Daniel hooked it up with a little birthday gift earlier, too. So thank you. Justin Connolly, thank you for coming in for the birthday wishes. Do appreciate it. Fish Family Link, thank you. I'm happy for you to be here, Mr. Bot. Justin Starbuck, good to see you. Yeah, see, I love seeing all these member names. The green forest lights me up. It makes me feel all warm inside. And then we've got Drizty, new member. Come on in. Now you have access in the playlist. You go to the community, or go to my homepage on YouTube and go to the playlists. And in the playlist, there'll be audio playlists that you normally see, but now there'll be 200 and some extra episodes tucked in there for you, like a bedtime story. So you can listen to them. Some of them have video edits with them, but the point is all of them are descriptive enough to be listened to and enjoyed, hopefully, without watching. And I decided that I kind of want to do that with most of my content now. I mean, not to make podcasts out of it, but just because I feel like you're kind of doing a disservice. I don't need to describe every little thing. Like if I have a chart that's like, this is the pH chart that this fish is safe. Like at this, the Rift Lake cichlids are here, and this is here, and this is here, and this is there. And I was showing like a big chart of all where fish pH can be for their health. That would be a case of like, yeah, I'm just going to say, here's the chart. And, here we've got this and this, and maybe like the main points, but I'm not going to say, oh, here's all this extra info. But I do, like when I'm editing videos, the whole thing that slowed me down and given me a mini existential meltdown the last few months has been the whole aspect of B-roll, which is, the footage in between me talking and just sitting here like this, but also the good information for the screen. So if I go on a tangent in my video and I say illegal logging and gold mining in Myanmar is causing a lot of forest devastation because they're using gold and they're using arsenic and mercury. Well, they're mining the gold, but they're to refine it, they're using mercury and arsenic and sulfuric acid. And then once they do that, they use these fire hoses that have these diesel or gas powered generators and then water pumps. And they wash out the hillside with the river water and let it drip right back into the river with all the oil and all the other junk that's in it. Not to mention their holding ponds and sluice bins and stuff that, one, kick up debris, which isn't great, but even worse, they kick up like motor oil and drip stuff while they're running. Any generator, especially old janky ones in a humid forest, are with being run by pirates and impoverished people. They're going to be probably a little leaky there. Yeah, well, you are, yeah, just welcome and thank you. And then also, I saw, oh, Lush Salty Aquariums, good to see you. Oh, you like the little parasitic clam short, do you? That's a whole, okay, so I made that short, and I'm gonna do one more little side tangent. I know I never got to the point of why I was talking about like the three things I'm working on, but gratuity, uh or graciousness, not, I guess gratuity, sure, like paying it forward, and also, feeling like I owe a debt, um to everyone, to each and every one of you. I feel like that's kind of a big message in a lot of religions and a lot of like philosophies. It is that like you're here to service others and you'll feel better and be better and do better. But for me, it's more of like, I feel the better purpose in life. I feel better about my own problems and about my own insecurities and things when I'm there to catch others. It, like, not that I'm always the strongest. I can't catch, like the heavy ones. I can't bear a lot of load. I can't donate a ton of money. I can't do this or that. But I do have the time. I do have, experience. I do have the empathy. I do have this or that, and each of us have a different load we're carrying and a different load that we can bear before it takes over our own personal life to a negative spot. But that short, back to that short, I just was gonna say, I'm very grateful that you liked it, because I was like, maybe I'll do a full-length video on this. And the first edit was 6 minutes long. And so then I was like, well, that's not a short. Basically, hold on, guys. I don't know what is coming in and going nuts. Somebody's like, aha, I figured out I've got his ear on the live stream. Um, oh, it's Chang from Moonlight Aquatics. Interesting. He's telling me that he got so he had an import, a massive import of fish from Southeast Asia, and he just texted me. It was a huge disaster, worst I've had. They were late by like 3 weeks or something. They put him off a week. They put him off another week, and they had all his money tied up. I don't know what happened exactly. I'll have to find out. Well, there'll probably be a story for another day. But what I was going to say about the parasitic clam. So if you haven't seen the short, it's a clam that basically, there's these clams in Asia. There's about 50 species of them, and they're in the unionids species of mussels, freshwater bivalves, clams, and mussels. But mostly mussels, actually, and they look like clams, so I'm saying clams, but technically they're a mussel. So they sit in the sand and the silt in rivers, and they tend to be usually like most densely found at the mouth or the estuarine or brackish part of rivers. And they're filter feeders, and they need a lot of turbidity. They need a lot of little particles and debris and stuff in the water, because they're filter feeders, right? And they can't get up and move around. They have a little foot thing that they can kind of do certain things in certain species, but other species can't even move at all. They're kind of just like barnacles almost at a certain point. They can like dig in the ground and kind of go left to right as much as they can dig a foot each way or something. Well, these little guys figured out a way, and this is well known. There's a clam and lots of fish species, but there's also birds. There's also mammals that basically either snails, clams, oysters. They put out a sporulite or a sporiform, which is like a little, basically a gamete. So it's like they've got like a sperm and egg combo ready to go. It's like a preloaded IVF, in vitro fertilization, and they're just waiting for a target. And these certain mussels in Taiwan, in China, in Hong Kong, they actually create part of the mantle and their hinge or their lip at the edge. They create a mantle that looks just like a little minnow, and then they flick it. And so it looks like a little minnow that's dying or distressed, doing the, like, as we call it, flashing. when they kind of are sick and they've got a neurological problem or whatever it may be. But this gets the attention of other fish in the area, and they go down and they check it out, and they might even take a little bite of it. Well, when they do, that's the trigger for the mussel to release its sporiforms, and bam, the fish breathes in the water from the area, or takes a little nibble of the water and the bit of clam. Even if it is a strong fish that can rip a chunk off the clam, go watch the short if you want to see actual video and pictures of like how elaborate some of these little lures are on the mantle. Some of them literally, I saw the picture and I thought, okay, where's the lure? I see a minnow, but I don't see where's the part on the clam? And then I was like, oh my gosh, there's no minnow there. That's all clam. There's just a mussel or a clam there. Some of them have stripes, some of them have spots. I mean, they've evolved to look like the fish. And then they develop in the gills of the poor fish, and they suck the blood out. And this is how, in the first few weeks, these creatures wouldn't have enough calcium, carbonate hardness. They wouldn't have enough calcium or carbon to build their shells. And so instead of being plankton out in the water like, oysters and barnacles and stuff are in saltwater, instead of getting their nutrients from other plankton and, other microscopic and micro organisms and things, they are in the water after the clams and the mussels squirt them out. Just long enough to hold on to the fish's gills and get the nutrients. And instead of having to predate or swim around or have any other system, they just hold on and they basically put a straw in. And when they're about 10 times the size of when they left, if not in some cases like 50 times the size of the cell, then they swell up and they fall off. Well, a lot of times this is pretty draining to the fish. In some fish species, more so than others. Like a little tiny minnow, if it goes down and investigates the lure and gets a whole lung or a whole gill full of 50 or 60 of these things, they can really ravage the poor little fish. But these clams have evolved to also do this usually when the fish are swimming upstream to spawn, or because it's like warmer down in the hot, sunny, tropical places in the world, and they want to catch them in that turbid water where the clams and mussels happen to filter feed more, in like the river delta, because everything's washing down to the river delta on its way out to the ocean, right? Well, that also the water may be moving a little slower, but it happens to be a lot murkier and muddier a lot of times, and can get kicked up in those deltas and stuff with currents and tides and all that. And so there's a lot more nutrients for them to eat there. But when they're little or young, they want to start off as far upriver as they can, because like I said, they can only move like a foot in a week or whatever. It depends on the species, but they can't move very far. Yes, there are some clams and mussels that can get up and, propel themselves around and do all sorts of great things. But there are also a lot that are stuck where they're at. And so they have these different strategies, but they hitch a ride in the gills. They get the nutrients they need, and they go upriver. And in some cases, it's fish, similar to like a salmon. And it's no big deal because the salmon one is already either dying and their nutrients being missed from the gills isn't that crucial. Or two, it's just, a big fish that's not going to miss it. And it's an irritant for a while, but then, whatever. And in the case of this, they're looking and they're trying to understand, like, is there a benefit to the fish? Well, there happens to be a group of fish called bitterlings. And to make this whole thing really confusing, and guys, I did see another super chat, and I will get to Richard Simpson right now. I saw your super chat. Sorry, I got away on this tangent, but thank you so much for the $10 super chat. That is very generous, and I really do appreciate it. Spencer Witt, happy birthday from Bellingham. Thank you so much. Got another member there. Randall Ben. Look, I got 7 members in a row commenting. Peplin and he said, okay, Peplin, we got the 39. You don't look a day over 50. Thank you. And then Asha, good to see you too. I mean, I love all of you. You guys don't need to be members for me to be happy to see you, but I'm just saying, boy, it is an extra kind of and happy birthday to you this year as well, Madame Lacrimosa. We've also got Brush It Off talking about being a member for, holy smokes, 63 months. That's like a prison term for robbing a bank. Wow, you've done your time with me, sir. Thank you so kindly, man. I think you've only been able to be a member for, man, that's like 5 years, brah. That's over 5 years. Thank you so much. And also, Asha, same with you. I'm 56. What the heck here? Look at these. How lucky am I to have incredible people like this? You know, we got other great people that are around that are active on all of our, forums and stuff. But, thank you guys. Really do appreciate it. I got people like Gary and Jeff Kane that are always around the block, just chilling. Coming here and making me smile. So, thank you guys. I'll tell you the rest of the clam story soon. I will, I promise. But I just, thank you guys. I have to tell you that it means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. Let's see here. Oddball Aquatics, good to see you as well. Is that Haley or is that Oddball Aquatics from before there? Either way, it doesn't matter. It's lovely to see you. Hydrocool Carrot, also great to see you as well. In my tanks, good to see you too, buddy. And Cave of Wonders, great to see you. Okay, so thank you guys. I feel like I'm caught up a little bit on chat. If you need a question answered, if you have something to say, and I'm not just, and everyone feel free to join the Discord. It's a free party now. I'm sorry for those of you who I charged. I don't know what I'm doing. I tried to make it the cheapest price it can be for everyone to access all the educational stuff. That was $2.99 if you bought it through app, or I think, was it $1.99 or $2.99? Whatever it was, the cheapest I could set it at. Apple charges 33% more for no reason. They just charge on an extra buck because it's not worth it to them unless they make a buck. They won't do it for 33 cents times millions of people a month. Sorry, I'm getting frustrated. Back to bitterlings. Yes, I agree. Okay, Moteb B, back to bitterlings. Okay, so bitterlings are a very cool little fish. There's pictures of them in the short, by the way. I'm talking about a short about 20 times longer than the freaking short is. But the bitterlings are a really pretty fish. They can live in cold water. They can live in like subtropical water too, so where it's all the way down to freezing and all the way up into like 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 28 Celsius. Very versatile fish, usually kind of like carp or something like that. But the bitterlings have evolved to actually, in return, they get jiggy with the mussels. So they come up to the mussel or clam, and the female goes boop and puts this long ovipositor, and I'm talking like if the fish is the size of my hand, the ovipositor comes out to like here in some of the species. It's like the length of the fish. Sometimes it's like 2.5 times that. It's able to stretch when you like freeze frame it and see it like for like the 10th of a second that it does that. But anyways, they set themselves up for this, and they go around those the clams and mussels that are doing this lure thing, trying to lure other fish in. And in a lot of cases, the bitterlings are immune to their gills being eaten. And they're looking into like how they evolved the ability to kick out the little seedlings, or the little fertilized clamlings. I'm going to call them clamlings, musclings. But they kick them out and they don't take hold. And so then they're able to, not worry about that, and they can get right in there. And some of them actually specialize in eating, the whole lure thing as like a food source too, for protein. Much to the chagrin of the clam or mussel that thinks it's getting one over on the fish. Of course, this is all evolutionarily, and nobody thinks anything. Probably it's just happening by selection. But anyways, so the fish has its sexy time with the mantle. And in this case of some of the clams, what's interesting is some of the mussels and clams actually have what resembles a cloaca, or the spot which fish mate. So there is some sort of benefit to these bitterlings being around the clams and mussels. Like I said, over 50 species in Taiwan, Vietnam, Thailand, China, Asia, up through like Central Asia into Pakistan, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkestan, Tajikistan, Mongolia. There are bitterlings all over India and Nepal, Tibet. There's some that are way up high in elevation and stuff too. But to make things more confusing, the article that I had started reading is a scholarly journal article that kind of caught my attention. Was about the Amur, and that's AMUR, Amur bitterlings, and they are known for not getting the parasite in their gills, and for being able to basically inseminate the clam, and then their eggs sit protected in the clam. But the clam tries to get them out, but the place they actually tuck them into the clam or mussel is right next to where they would be able to flex or like water jet out the actual eggs. And they're like little grains of rice, a little smaller than a grain of rice. And they sit right in there. And the ovipositor is real long for a reason, because it actually like loops in a split second. I mean, talk about gonopodiums. Ovipositors can be crazy evolution-wise. They can actually like insert right into this little trench or fold where the clam can't kick them out. But it trying to jostle them actually keeps the eggs both from fungusing and from getting like sediment building up on one side, because it needs to be turned, rotated. So it's super crazy that the fish, has worked out evolutionarily that that's a good place for its eggs. And then when the fry hatch, they come out and go free. Now, there are some species in which the fry actually hang out in the clam for like 5 to 6 days, and they eat biofilm, or they eat secretions and mucus from the clam that are full of like amino acids and protein. But I haven't even gone down that rabbit hole all the way yet, but this is just bitterlings that I've looked up. So that's the Amur bitterling. Well, then there's the case of in Taiwan, there is the Amurensis, which is also found in India. It's found on the continent, and so it's probably a very old fish lineage. Now they think there's maybe like 5 or 6 different subspecies of it. Anyways, it's a long story. It's a very pretty little bitterling, bright red, purple, and teal when it's spawning, and kind of gray and silver when it's not. But it actually does take on the sporiforms in its gills. So it will actually have the same species that it impregnates, or I guess inseminates is the word, not impregnates. So it's inseminating and storing its eggs in a mussel, and that same mussel will then basically at the same time go, and then the fish, you know, breathes it in, sorts through it, and ends up embedded in the fish's gills. And you can see a time lapse of these little things growing in the fish's gills, and they go from like a singular cell to, well, it's actually two cells, but it's in one, you know, zygote, whatever. And then, you know, you see it grow and then split so that it looks like a clamshell or a mussel. There's like the actual shell forming after it gets, you know, whatever, a few hundred cells big. And it's all in the fish's gills for a few weeks. And in some cases, it's only one day in certain bitterlings, and they're literally just like letting the fish hatch into, as we call them, sticky heads, or like the baby fish that can't even swim. Like they just plop out of the clam and lay on the ground next to it for a few days, kind of treading water while their spinal column and head grows. And other ones are doing what is the cat? I think sorry guys, I think the cat sees a mouse or a bird or something outside because she's just like JP Jeffries, good to see you. Hardest working fish stream in the chat. What's going on? Good to see you. Beto, what's up to see you as well? What's up to see you? That's Alex. Speak words that are English. Well, at least in an order that is. Oh, what's up? Hi, baby girl. What's up? You want to say hi to the people again? You wanna sing David Bowie like they caught us singing earlier? Maybe they know our secret. Our secret's out that we sing glam rock like T-Rex. I'm your joy, your 20th century toy, 20th century boy. I wanna be your joy. Well, it tastes good. Well, it tastes fine. Well, it tastes just like Hollywood. Anyways, so, well, it's clear to see she was meant for me. Yeah, I'm her joy, her 20th century toy, her 21st century toy. She wants to eat these things called churros. They're made out of tuna. She's got these little they're pouches. They're like the dumb yogurt, Go-Gurt, I think it was called. They used to come in like squeeze tubes, and she eats this like shrimp puree that is just freaking disgusting. But yeah, you eat disgusting food. You hear me? But yeah, she's like the happiest cat ever when she gets those things. Gary says, shows how species dependent on each other, and how contamination can affect them. Yeah, so we'll get to the bitterlings in 1 sec again too. Nicholas was saying in question, hold on, let me put this on the screen for a moment. The cat, you are totally hitting me in the head. Yes, and I do have the new kitty cat backpack. She sleeps in that just for fun. The other day, I think I told you guys, I thought I lost her, and she was sleeping in the closet, hanging from the hanger in her backpack. She loves it. So great. I mean, yeah. CRP Fish, what's up? Or CR Fish, I should say. My question is, how often do these bitterlings look good? They seem almost too good to be true. Body shape, size, excellent. Yeah, they're gray all the freaking time. You nailed it there, man. Most of the bitterlings are pretty freaking lame a lot of the time. From an aquarist point of view, like they look like a tiger barb with no markings, no discernible. Hey, cat, do not chew on the back of the wires. And there are a few that are good looking ones. The Amarensis is an okay one. And there are a few others that are actually very pretty, like the Taiwanese bitterling that doesn't have a Latin name yet that they found 2 years ago is really pretty. It's got like pink and peach and orange and pink belly. But most of them are just gorgeous when spawning. But the trick is when you have them in captivity, like you have them in an aquarium in your tank, even though they're a cold water fish, if you keep them in tropical water year round, they may start turning spawning colors more frequently and stay that color more often, even if they've spawned already and they're done for the season, so to speak. They will still oftentimes stay in that mode as long as you're feeding them high protein and you've got like wave action and stuff. But what I was going to say is these mussels also catch a ride depending on the species. And some of them want a ride upriver. Some of them just want the calcium and nutrients to basically form a shell. But others, others are in it for things that we don't quite know yet. And there's all these research papers looking into these things because it's very interesting. Some of these bitterlings literally do not reproduce with one another. Like they won't lay eggs in the sand anymore. They need these bivalves. And the problem is that the bivalves die when the water quality is poor. And, there are places, and I think it's one of the cities in the Netherlands and then another one in Poland and Budapest, I believe, too, in Hungary. They all have water systems that literally have a super glued magnet or circuit completion, like a piece of metal, on the top of the clam. And when the clam's filter feeding and happy like this, it's open, and that piece of metal or wire is touching the top of the little floodgate switch for municipal city water. And so if the clam closes up, that means either danger was in the pipe, which shouldn't be in the pipe, or it means that something unhealthy or toxic happened and it stopped feeding and it's now in like holding its breath mode and not good, like not filter mode. And so they can actually tell by gluing that simple act of just on off of feeding or not, happy or not. They can then know to check, okay, now we'll run the expensive tests and we'll check what's in the water. Is it, is there an oil spill? Is there whatever, something in the water? And granted, it doesn't pick up certain things like complex molecules, microplastics. It doesn't pick up things like SSRI medications in the water, but it does tell if there's too much nitrate or nitrite or fecal coliform or things like that. It's pretty cool. Somebody said they get released after a short service. Yeah. Also Night Owl Aquatics. Thank you kindly. I like the name as well. I probably already said that, but yeah. Also DS8197 says, shoot, I'll have to go to sleep. I'll definitely be enjoying live chat tomorrow. Well, all right. You have a wonderful evening. I think we're probably going to start doing live chats earlier on Tuesdays, sometime earlier in the day, whenever I'm like honestly done with the doctor and feeling okay, because I usually have a doctor appointment sometime on Tuesdays. Then I'm going to go on Fridays. My hope is to still go more towards like the afternoon or evening. Imperial Aquatics, who now we have a discount code for, which is just Fishtory, easy, all caps. They are streaming most Fridays now to just show what they have, which is wonderful, because a lot of places don't do that, whether it's just because they don't have the time or energy. But when you order fish online and you see a picture, you damn well want that nice looking fish from the picture. And a lot of times they just buy stock photos and they're not the actual fish. that they have in stock. There's some picture from like Dennerley or Chris Lukoff's amazing photography using CPDs that are $15 a piece that are like top of the top. Or maybe, you know, with Chris, a lot of times Chris Lukoff's photography is an aquarium in country of like where he found the thing. So it's like shrimp. And it's like, oh, you're going to buy this shrimp. And it's like, yeah, but that's like in Indonesia, you know, that's in Sulawesi. Do you think yellow Acara on Dan's website are color saturated, Alex? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Take a look. Take a look. Dan's fish. I remember those, and they are a very yellow fish, like in nature, super yellow. I've also seen them on some lists lately out of Indonesia pretty commonly. Let me pull this up, and then we'll take a look. His Nisinai or Nijis, I can never say the damn thing right. I need Mick M to tell me how to talk. The Pisto Nisinai Tigra, those are super yellow also. I've seen them elsewhere. Where is his? Well, he's got a Royal Acara. Does he have any yellow Acaras for sale at the moment? He has the golden eye. I don't know if he does have any true yellow Acaras. But here, I'll pull it up for you guys. Oh, wait. Yes, I see it now that you say that. No, I don't think those are color saturated. Let me pull them up so you guys can all see. Share screen. Dan's. Okay, share. All right. So right here, the yellow Acara. Beautiful. $39.99. I love these fish. They are stunning. They are a stunning fish. 2 to 4 inches. That's pretty good size too. I mean, that is a really nice fish. You know, this, I can tell you, these are a great fish, but very rarely are they that colorful. They're more often like this, like that. They're fine. They're cool. They're fun to watch. But also like the Royal Acara is another one it's very pretty, but that the blue sometimes it's not always that electric. It comes down like this from different angles. It's more like a pearl color that got caught just right there. I don't think that any of his fish are going to be doped either. Like none of them are coming out of China and they're gonna like lose their color and then, you know, be bad. Not with Dan. That's not the way he rolls. At least if he knew about anything like that, he would not continue with them. But let me show you the Imperial tropical version because I also think just as highly of them, and I can get you a better discount. But here, Imperial Tropicals. So I still do have a link if you really want it for Dan's, but I'm not. There's no discount, so I don't know why the hell you'd want it. So, I get 2.5% of sales, but to me, I don't want to be giving out sales if you guys aren't getting anything out of it. But what I can say too is that what's cool about Imperial Tropicals is they've got this clearance, and you can see like sometimes they've got stuff that's really expensive, like 40 or 50, $60 a fish, down at like $11, just because nobody wanted it and they bred it, and they've got big old ponds out back. But they're willing to do that. Like $19.99 for assorted Mabunas, which is 3 different random, that's pretty cool. But yeah, water wisteria, $3.49 for a clump. Good deal too. Yellowtail acai, $8.99. But they've always got like a list of stuff. that's interesting. But I saw the Acaras on here not long ago. So let's see here. Livestock, American cichlids, South American probably. Let's see if he's still got them ready to go. Pearl cichlid. There are some really interesting ones too. Like this is a geophagus, and they've got different sizes, and that's because they have such big facility there. But just use the word all caps Fishtory, and I can get you the best deal they have. Whatever their best affiliate deal is, that's what I will have for you. It's either 5% or 10%, depending, I think. But I'm fighting to get it at 10% all the time. I'm still being a thorn in their side about that. But in any case, I can speak to their place. I've toured it. Other people have toured it. You know, Corey just got on board with Aquarium Co-op, and now he's recommending them and all that too. So, like, here's a Colombian green Severum, absolutely incredibly beautiful, wild. I mean, like wild genetics, but they're breeding them F1. So that's first generation in captivity, which is super cool in my opinion. That he also keeps track of that, Mike, the guy there. And I mean, like these Viejas were only $9.99, which is crazy affordable. You know, same with like Y Millerize. These are one of the most beautiful, you know, fish when they grow up and swim around in a big community tank. But I thought he had some. Well, there's the blue Acar. I know he's got a yellow Acar in here somewhere. I'll search for it in a sec if I don't come across it in a second here. Also, I need to get myself one of these. This is what I was talking about, going over stuff for my birthday. Talk about the Astronautis ocellatus, the Oscar, that is. I have wanted to get the Mikolji one and Ivan one. This Pac-Man Apisto, super cute too. Only $20 from them though. That's wild. It looks like the Pac-Man. It's got like just one mouth slit. If you squint, you can see the Pac-Man resemblance. But here's a yellow banded. So this is a different species, but only $12.99. Don't have them at the moment. But what I was gonna say was that when he had them, like literally last week, I saw them. The yellow banded Acaras, where are they? I was going to try to compare the color for you too. They've always got these big old peacock cichlids and bass and stuff like that too. They've always got those, which I don't know, like I guess they just grow them out. They've always got weird forms of the like Oscars and things too. They do a lot of color morphs and a lot of domestic forms from Europe and stuff, even in with discus and all that. Okay, I'll have to just look it up here in a sec. They've got too many freaking fish. They've got, you know, Ultim Angels. Yeah, just really pretty. $14.99 for the Epistogramma pebus. Those are so pretty. Yeah, Scalara. Oh, they even, you know, they do carry a lot bigger stuff too that nobody I've ever worked with before carries. So things like the Crenicichlas, the pike cichlids, these guys, which are some of the most beautiful. Let's do a search here. Yellow Acara. Okay. So there's this yellow Acara. There's the royal Acara. Oh, well, maybe. Well, they even have the Cyclosoma dimeris, which is all over Florida. You can catch that thing everywhere in Florida. I don't know why. Who let them go? But I am curious about this fish now. If in other pictures, what that one looks like. But the royal Acaras, again, it always kind of baffles me, but I guess they're working with the same limitations that I am. But when you look for, say you want this royal Acara, that picture is fine. Like you can tell the fish is healthy and stuff, but it's going to be in probably either RODI seasoned, as they say, water, or it's going to be in the well water of the area, which is pretty neutral, and they off gas a ton of sulfur out of it. But right here, like, look at some pictures of this same fish in other places. Like, this is the wet spot, which I actually trust their pictures quite well. And if you go to images, yeah, you can see how yellow even this one is, the royal one. So if you were feeding it or astaxanthin or anthocyanins, you'd probably get some pretty bright coloration during spawning time and stuff like that. Yeah, some of the color stripes are just really wild, but the yellow Acara, there are wild lines, and that is what you would tend to see here, the mate, and then there are lines that have been more selected, and this could be wild here, but this and this here, in my mind, generally, this is more like a few generations of domestic breeding selectively for like the reds and the brighter colors. Plus, they've been feeding them high diets in that. Now, they're from very, very nutrient poor ecosystems, like very tannic rich and like black water or flowing rivers with like the mulm. Is this a McColgie? Yeah, this is an Ivan photo. My good buddy Ivan, yeah, he took this one. But I mean that's it right there in the wild. So yes, they effectively use that yellow in some of the Acaras. They really do. Like here too, you can see that's probably a more wild like pattern there compared to. Obviously, you also get things like the thread fin. You get things. This is a different species altogether, but you get the albino, and you also get leucistic and other stuff too. So, any case, back here. What did I miss in the chat? Sorry, let me take a peek here. McMaster are beautiful. I have a couple McMaster. McMaster can be jerks. They really can, but mine have been very good. The two I have, they'll pick a cave or they'll pick like a I've had them now 4 years. They're the oldest Epistos I've had. Like they're the oldest pair of Epistos I have right now. And yeah, they just like hide together. And when they do that, then they're very, very possessive of their little hideaway. But if they're not doing that, if they're out in the open swimming and interacting with the other fish, they're super chill, super chill. But I've also seen them be very aggressive when they're nested in a cava territory. Thank you, Kinky Kong guy. I appreciate it very much for the birthday wishes. That's very sweet of you. Have I ever kept cloud minnows? Oh yeah, I've had actually all the species of Tannichthyes, from Tan's minnow all the way to the newer Vietnamese one to the island ones. Hold on, guys. I'm going to treat myself to a piece of chocolate for my birthday because my mouth is feeling dry. Even with something to drink. this will make it so I probably need a fuzzy thing to protect me from licking my chops on the microphone. Those yellow cars and royal cars, the yellows get like 4 to 6 inches, kind of depends. They do kind of grow to their size. If you have them in a 40, they'll probably get to 4, 5 inches. If you have them in 120 gallon, they'll probably make it up to the 6-inch mark. Evaluate my minnow project. Oh. What's going on, Nick? What are you doing? What's happening? Oh, Mick. Hey, if Mick says something, listen to him. Especially if it has to do with the pistos at all. Mick M knows more than anyone about a pistos on here, that's for sure. 186 element. What's going on? I just want to thank YouTube for the lack of communication notification for the stream. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. You know, I usually stream starting at like 4 or 5 sometimes if I'm late from the doctor's. Today, my doctor's appointment was at 7:30 a.m. So I was like, well, that's early, which I guess is nice. Let me get lots of other stuff done. And I still had energy for the day. So I wanted to stream while I had more of the energy. So I started basically an hour early. Baby girl, what are you doing up here? The cat's back. The cat is back the very next day. I thought she was a goner, but she wouldn't stay away. She's chewing on the cords and she's kicking over the camera. Cat, you gotta stop that. Oh, but I love you. I love you, baby kitty. You're not a fish, but I love you. You can be a part of the topic. What's your favorite fish, Sumi? Any fish I can reach. Fake chocolate made with crappy nut oils. I don't know about the nut oils. I doubt they have the budget for nuts. It's probably like canola and like vegetable oil and like maybe even like hydrocarbon oil. Maybe oil of like broken American dreams and promises. Main Street American tears. That's what they make the Hershey's chocolate out of. Yeah, no, it's bad chocolate compared to anything else out there. But when you're at a hotel that gives you a little gift basket of things to eat while you watch a movie, like the one that I went to for my birthday 2 nights ago, they had like a bag of microwave popcorn, which I can't eat without my upper teeth. And then they had that and some Reese's peanut butter cups and a Twix and a Snickers. I was like, this is a sweet little package of like junk food. And so my wife took the good candy bars and I got the Hershey's bar. So it's been sitting here today and I just now was like, man, I need something to wet my, or something to like get my palate lubricated. Hey, why are we squirming? Why are we squirming, baby girl? We don't need to squirm. We can just party. 2000 party over. It's out of time. Boom, 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 boom. Nick, I would make you a member all the time if I could. I don't think that's a thing still, but if I could, I would. Fishery, I have about 30 epistos in a 10-gallon. They're super skittish. I need to move them, but I'm afraid to scare them to death. Yeah, you won't. Keep them in a planted tank if you have plants, or set up a condo for them. If it's not planted, then at least definitely have the thing where you take like a piece of slate or a piece of tile and a brick or a rock or break 3 pieces of tile and do 3 on either side, and then 1 long piece across, and then above do another one, and make them like a set of condos, like little ledges that they can all go in and out of and feel safe. They want more safety. And if they're baby apistos, unless they're an inch long, they are food to everything in their natural environment. And there's just a reason that's the reason why they are so skittish and shy and whatnot, because their mom and dad would be following them around in a larger area. I don't know if you've got a parent still in there, but I mean, that's generally what would happen with them. Yeah, you know, the other thing I was going to say about on this, when we were looking at what I wanted to show you guys was the dream fish that I have is the rainbow pike cichlid. And yeah, here we go. The just absolutely beautiful fish. And there's also the rainbow wolffish is another predatory zebra pike that I would love. And then there's some weird cranichulas. The orange one, it also gets, that's not a very good picture. Here's a better picture right there. That is what they look like. Look at that. It's like a salmon or something from down in the tropics. The red Atabapo is a newer one too that is completely like, it's kind of like the red pencilfish. But look at this. We're not even looking for the acaras. And there's like, you know, people with, when you use the word rainbow, they're like, yeah, we're gonna put some acaras in there too. So kind of interesting. But yeah, if I had a massive tank, I'm torn. Like, I don't know. Even if I had all the tank room in the world, would I use that, or would I do like massive school of like gold ring danios through like a really big planted dense tank? I don't know. It'd be a hard call. Holy smokes, we got a big old super chat. Who's that? It's Adam. Hey, what's going up? You know, I don't know about that second part of your comment, but hey, it's good to see you. Or wait, I can't even cover up the S, right? But it'll do in a pinch. A lot of people in Europe, specifically when I went there, asked me, they go, why does chocolate taste like vomitus? There's something, and it's not like, oh, it tastes gross and I'm using hyperbole. No, it's they actually taste like that regurgit, like that acidic taste. I think that's what does it. And I think it's because, like, you know, Lind chocolate or a lot of other brands out there too, they're big world brands. Even Cadbury does more of the like Dutching. And Adam, I know you've done big old episodes on all of that. In fact, you know, I want to do a shout out that I posted a link to it for y'all on the channel. But if you don't know who Adam Ragusia is, he is a buddy of mine. And why won't this work? Come on. Is it just not gonna let me? Hold on, guys. Let me figure out why. Why? Oh, there it is. There it is. Look at that. Wow, what a super chat. Thank you so kindly, sir. And also, I'm thinking, Adam, this is straight to you because I was gonna text you anyways about it. But I think I'm gonna get cleared to go to ADA in April. Like, I'll probably still be on a knee scooter, but or like wheelchair or crutches, whatever logistically we figure out. But I think I'll be able to make it. it's who's gonna come with me too. That's the other little like, yeah, I don't know for sure. Like, because my dad's like, I'd like to go just to see what it is you do, because he's like retired and all of a sudden is interested. He's interested once I've survived off of aquarium related stuff for 6 or 7 years now. Now it's like not a stupid or silly, like, not that he was very like belittling about it, but he was very skeptical that there was any work or any interest in aquariums that was to be out there to consult or to build, or like, like when I told him, like, oh, I got my master breeder's license like maybe 10 years ago, or not license, but certification from the local Seattle club. He was like, what are you gonna do with that? And I was like, I don't know. I don't even want to like parade it around now. Thanks a lot. Um, but anyways, yeah. So hopefully I will be at Sacramento Aquatic Garden Association meeting. I love that conference. I was at Chicago, Seattle, and New Jersey, and I hope to be obviously at Sacramento. But yeah. Thank you so much. Also, the episode that I was referring to that I cut myself off and then forgot what I was talking about, that never happens here on Fishtory, was that he did an episode on invasive fish eating them. Well, he actually did a very cool on the Tennessee Conservatory fish conservation. I'm not thinking of the name properly. My brain is slowly shutting down on you, just so you guys know. But he did a great job. He's been on the channel, stopped by before. Derek Wheaton, and a number of other people that have worked with the folks over there. And the exact name, I think it's the Native Tennessee. I forget the acronym, but their fisheries, their endangered native fisheries program. And he did a great episode on his channel. If you guys haven't checked it out, just Google Adam Ragosia and probably the word fish and you'll find it, or Tennessee. Well, you might not find it in Tennessee, but something along those lines. They are interesting. Also, is somebody getting commercials? 186 or 186 element? Are you saying you're getting commercials? Because I tried to put that down, and some people are like, I don't get any of them. Uncle Joe's Fish Shed, what's going on? We have Borellii with location data and mega orange aquarium strain. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, what was I gonna say? Yeah, a lot of people will put the question I wanted to get back to real quick about were Dan's fish color up, were they doped up or colored up, or was the photo saturated? The photo he uses is not always his own in-house, but he'll get it from usually someone either fairly reputable or somebody who at least has stayed within the spirit of what the fish looks like. So it may be slightly, the contrast may be turned up a little bit, or saturation might be turned up a little bit, to try to show you what the fish looks like in real life, but he doesn't like try to misrepresent what you'd be getting. So it's probably a pretty vivid fish, even if that is a slightly altered photo. The thing is, he just may not have photos of his own of that fish, other than it being really tiny and not having any color, and he'd rather show what they grow to be, to show folks who are interested for it to catch their eye. But that being said, it is something that we've talked about in recent days, and that we talked about with Imperial Aquatics, why there are certain places, Moonlight Aquatics, he requests and like specifically also does not want juiced fish. So fish coming out of Asia that a lot of times have steroids, and then they've been pumped with anthocyanine and astaxanthin and basically the color enhancing foods, and or even injections of stuff like that. Now they're supposed to be capped, I believe, at 400 milligrams of astaxanthin a day. They'll feed them upwards of like triple that, and koi farmers and things will tan their fish too. Well, they'll do the same thing indoors, and they'll use UV lights also to color up fish more. And it's just kind of one of the things that happens in the hobby. But you'll see that a lot with blood parrotfish. You'll see that a lot with flower horns. Also, I've seen it nowadays. There are some blue and green phantoms coming out of being bred in captivity, but none of them have the truly magnificent blue or green colors that I've seen out of wild ones. Not long term. There are some I've seen that for a little while they have pretty nice color, and I think that they're juicing a lot of those also. Now there are practices that go so far as to even dye fish color, doing things like soaking them in methylene blue if it's like a blue, for instance, something like a blue like a swordtail that's like a blue Mickey Mouse, Molly swordtail cross, or some weird live bear that's a new color morph or something that people don't quite know what to expect. And then also there's the glass fish that notoriously are either injected or tattooed or dipped in dye. Now there's all sorts of health issues that come with dye and things like that, so that's not great. But also it hides true illness and actual problems, things like ick. Sometimes you can't even recognize on the fish that have been altered in these ways, or it may make the top biofilm and deceased tissue, like on the keratin and stuff on the scales and the iridophores and all that. Over time, it can actually kind of break down that outer layer and make it look foggy or opaque rather than make it look good. So there's a number of reasons why you might not want to do that, especially long term. But really, for breeding is the other thing. Like, you don't want to do that and then end up like having no idea what the babies will look like because the parents came in bright some purple or something. Yay, just two wild crazy guys on the streets of Sacramento. Yeah, right. That will be fun. The other thing is that maybe I'll just come on my own now that I think about my dad trying to throw a wild night in Sacramento. No, because I'd rather just chill with, I'd rather get Adam out there. Because also, Ivan McColgie, the famous photographer, my good friend who started the nonprofit with me, the Green Earth Alliance. Ivan, he's safe, he's good, he's in Venezuela. He doesn't know for sure. He's supposed to be speaking at ADA. Or AGA, that is. ADA is on my mind because I've also started the Aquascape, and I was thinking about showing you guys just the start of it, but I am actually, when I wrote out that list of videos that I was going to make, I didn't realize that I was kind of setting myself up for 15 videos. That's fine. But some of them, I was like, some of them will be like 8 or 9 minutes and others might be 20 minutes. But when I said, I'm going to set up a video on how to set up CO2, how to set up the substrate, how to set up the light, how to set up the stand, and how to set up or how to first do hardscape, those are all in the same day, and they all need B-roll or edits and info or time lapses or stuff in my mind that I'm like, oh man, I'm going to want to film that a couple ways and this and that. And thanks to Adam, I actually have an extra camera for that too, that I can splice some of that film in. And I've got like a little working like memory card dock thing that I can kind of like use as multiple hard drives. So that's really helped for the editing of stuff lately, which, you know, in theory, I do from my phone because I'm crazy. I do, you know, also on computer, but on the phone, it's like where I can kind of hit my Zen stride, and I like to just kind of pace and stand outside when it's like ice cold and just like breathe in that like crisp air and listen to the sounds of the city, or, you know, even if we're not in the city, it's even better. But yeah, anyways, I'll stop expounding upon all of that. But anyways, Kinky Kongai, why do I feel like I'm saying that so wrong? Kinky Konga I, or Konga AI. Kinky Kong AI. That's probably what it is. Sorry. Kinky Kong AI. Cat, what do you want? You're putting your claws into my thigh, and you don't want to come up here and party. You don't even want to party. But thank you for the $2 super chat. I do appreciate it. Sorry, my fish stole my fish. See, my thoughts. I'm starting to leak, guys. As you know, a certain time of day, I just start losing momentum, and ever since the brain injuries and stuff, ever since the multiple brain injuries, I get this thing where I just start going downhill and sound like just a raving lunatic drunk by an hour or two of keeping going and taxing my mind and thinking. So I have to sit down and like close my eyes and just lay there with my hand, like my hands crossed. There's no way to, when you have a head injury, my neurologist made it very clear, because my wife and I were like, well, we're just trying to push through it. We're trying to do like Sudoku and problem solve when I get that tired and like confused, kind of like mixing up my words, switching my words, stuff going on. And she's like, don't do that. Don't do that. It actually, the stress can cause more problems and more like, oh, a meltdown. I was like, oh, great. Or like a CPSD, complex PTSD, related to the injury and stuff. So she's like, so don't do that. Just, you need to rest when that happens. But anyways, that's why also why I've had to kind of switch up when the exact time of the stream has been. But oh, we got another question that I missed. I'm sorry. Been sitting here yapping away, but Elf Puncher, love the name still, was asking, do you have any experience with Marison 2? I found that fish need to be treated, but worry about it nuking my tank. Yeah, so it's gram negative usually. Yeah, it's gram negative, meaning it won't take out anything in your gram positive mulm or sponge filter. So it shouldn't take out any of your biological filtration that's from the water column. So the majority of all your nitrobacter, nitrobacillus, and nitrosomas, those should all be intact actually, but it can throw off some of the beneficial bacteria, the slime coats on fish, things like that. And that's why ideally you try to treat the affected fish in a tank separately, like move them and then treat them. And then you're using a much more concentrated batch of the antibiotics, hopefully, in that you can use like 1 packet per 10 gallons or whatever they recommend. You don't have to go less than that or buy a ton of it. You can use like a 10-gallon tank, put the fish in there, even if they're, I don't know, an Oscar or something, but for 2 or 3 days, they'll be fine. Just get an air stone going, you know, and they should be fine. But yeah, that's something to consider too, about that is like that it's gram negative, which is going to mean you're anaerobic. And anaerobic is going to be deep under the substrate or deep in granules of aqua soil, or compressed substrate and sand. But it's also what tends to be inside of fish. So to deliver Maricin 2 is much more effective to put it in food and then give it to the fish. That will give them a much better chance to actually take it in. Now, granted, it is not dosed for internal use like that. It is dosed assuming you're going to put it in the water column. You're going to scratch your ear. I know I'll help you here. But yeah, Maricin 2, it's the same as like Furin 2 or any of the gram negative stuff that's out there. You're my little baby girl, and you're going meow, 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 meow. Oh, yeah. Make sure you get all of that. Get all them hairballs. Sunny G1, what's up? Oh, Kenny. Where's Kenny? Where's Kenny at? Also, Cam Jam, thank you, ma'am. Hello. White crane to his African cichlids. White crane? I've never heard of that. Go. If you don't want to play no mo, go. Hey, GRB Aquatics, what's up? Good to see you. I haven't had luck with Dan's fish, quite disappointingly. Oh. But I do like aquatic arts and imperial tropicals. I've been hearing that the last year. I don't know particulars in that I've stopped tracking it down because I've stopped vouching for Dan's fish. I used to vouch for them, and I would track down any details that people had problems with, but I'm not really repping them anymore actively. I think they're still a good place for the selection. I think they're very overpriced, but I still think that, overall, I like the people who work there. I like the vision of the place. I like the fact that he had a vet on staff and that he was able to diagnose illness and things that other places couldn't, and that he would know things like, oh, there is basically a plague going along, through gouramis or this or that, and this is a virus that is just being carried but not doing any damage in these genera or genus of fish. But as soon as it gets into, I don't know, Hyphosobercon tetras, it kills them all, so we can't even let it be a carrier illness or virus. Stuff like that is definitely a service to the industry and the hobby at large. Even bigger than him, bigger than his store, it actually adds to the education for all of us. So I do like that about it. But I have heard for some reason lately people not so happy for various reasons, just with the quality or the size or the time, just a number of things. But I would still say that I will buy something if I really wanted some rare wild fish and they happen to have it. That's where I would go. If I needed breeding stock, I would go the wet spot there, Aquatic Arts, if they happen to have something that I want to breed, and the Imperial Tropicals. Those are the places. Moonlight also I'll go to. Moonlight, my only caveat is they have the best prices anywhere easily, but they don't have a vet on staff. They don't quarantine for any amount of time other than he kind of just watches. And if they look okay, they all look okay. He'll just kind of, put them out whenever, several days after they arrive. And you know, that's different than like a 2-week mandatory hold or something like that. But to me, if I, as long as they're transparent and they let you know that that's the case and they'll tell you that, um, I'm okay with that. And anything that's sensitive, usually he'll take and he'll actually put it aside to be longer than that or whatnot, like, you know, puffers and things like that. So I do actually, it's kind of like he does, kind of like he does in that Moonlight. But I want to be transparent to you guys that I have a number of affiliates. Aquatic Arts is kind of right in the middle. They have really great American raised fish. They bring in strains and strands and little oddball nano fish from all over Indonesia, primarily, and Taiwan, Japan. And they bring in like crabs and crayfish and all sorts of cool shrimp and stuff. And I think their prices are super fair. Granted, their shrimp might be $6 to $10 a piece. You use my discount code, you get 15% off. Wait for a sale, they might go down to like $2 or $3. Like, they can get really cheap if you do things at the right time with Aquatic Arts. But Moonlight is going to have like $2 to $4.99 shrimp, including caradinas, like most of the year. And it's insanity. I don't know. None of our other local fish stores do that. None of the online stores that I talk to really do that unless they home breed in America. And he doesn't do that. You know, he is not spawning anything majorly. He's working intensively with Chinese, Indonesian, Vietnamese, you know, various Asian importers, and he is an importer himself. He's also a one-man show, so I don't guarantee that his like feedback is going to be like within 12 hours of emailing him, you're going to get. Whereas Aquatic Arts, Imperial Tropicals, I guarantee within a day they're going to get back to you. They're going to tell you something. They're going to be on it, and they're going to do you right. As long as you got your ducks in a row, you took picture evidence, didn't open the bag kind of thing, you know, if something arrived, you open it up and it's deceased and you're within, you know, a couple hours of when it arrived. It wasn't just sitting on the porch in -30 or 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Anyways, but yeah, at Aquatic Arts, it's 15% off with Fishtory 15, all caps, one word. Moonlight is Fishtory 10, all caps, one word. And then Imperial right now, Imperial Tropicals is 5% guaranteed. You get the sale prices too, obviously, but I'm working on the 10%, and I don't know if we might come to a deal where your first purchase under starting an account with my code would be that, and then the further ones would be 5. But either way, you're always on all my deals going to get more percentage by far than I do, because I'd rather have it that way. I'd rather have more of y'all saving money and getting fish, and then I can use the code myself too, for that matter. And to me, a 5 or 10% code isn't as great as 15 or 20%. But at Aquatic Arts, you can also use the code when you already see the green, like, marked down price. My code is one of the only creator ones out there in the universe that will work all the time. It's always 15 instead of 10. Like, we have special privilege here at Fishtory because of the going on 9 years, basically since this channel's been, you know, monetized even slightly. I reached out to them and they've been good to me, and I've tried to be good to them also. The Garden of Eder Shrimp, I think it's Secret History or Secret, it's probably just Secret with a capital S, I think is the code. But you can also message Grant if you do want to get Caradina bred American shrimp. He also does Neo Caradina, and he also does some fish and stuff now, him and Shelby. They're amazing folks, but that's just an old leftover thing. So that's why I say, like, I think because he's changed the code, or I think it automatically changes for him every like 3 months, like the software. And he had like a queue of history, Fishtory, secret, 10, whatever. So it might just be easier to say, hey, Alex sent me blah, blah, blah. And because he kind of gets orders, as I understand it, there's a few things on his site that he sells, but he has 500 shrimp tanks. Like, go watch that tour of his house. He has over 200 lines of shrimp that look different and have different genetics, and just wild. It's wild. Ooh, longfin glow Danios. I don't care if they're glow Danios or if they're the glow in the dark kind, but either way, that is really cool. I love Danios. And Jeff Kane gifted 20 memberships. You guys, that is crazy. Jeff, that is really kind of you. Shout out to Jeff too, doing the kind of open panel stuff on well, I can't remember off the top of my head which channel it was that was hosting it, but he was on the other night, and you remember I was like, everybody go check that out. Well, same dude just gifted us 20 memberships. So what an all-around good dude in this community, caring about others, giving the gift of knowledge. Aloha, and becoming a member. Oh, look at all these members now. It's crazy. Wild. So hopefully it won't tell me everybody right now, but they will. Also, just ordered Ivancara bimaculata from Moonlight Aquatics, comes in tomorrow. Cool. I have some of them. They're living in my coconut. I should do an update on them, or a species spotlight probably. I'm waiting for them to have babies, honestly. I've been waiting for that, see if I can get them to do that and then film it. That would be my main goal. Yeah. Boots and cats. What's going on? Good to see you. And also, Victoria. What's up? Victoria Lab. Let's see here. Who else is in here? Folks are just showing up. It's like one of those holiday specials. I've got all my friends coming in for my birthday, the stream closest to my birthday. Just One More Fish LLC. I love that. I love that name too. Just One More Fish. I like that it's now an LLC. I hope with your limited liability corporation, you now have corporatized peoplehood, and I hope that the law never touches you. That you can do whatever it is you want to do in business now. Pedantic no one. I like that one. What's the deal with that thumbnail? The thumbnail, it is AI of me, and I said I want to be the lead character in a Sherlock Holmes style tale set in a Victorian era aquarium. Public aquarium. Well, that's what I got. Using an existing picture. But I don't know why. I just thought that would be fun, because originally today I was like, I'm going to talk about the fish that I want. If I had all the money in the world, what fish would I get right now? And I didn't even get to do that. I don't know. We might do some of that on Friday. But I'm also hoping we have some special guests soon. That's another thing I've been doing other than making the videos. Obviously, it has been that. Loretta Jackson, hello. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. That's very kind of you. Everybody has been so friendly and so happy and so cheerful, like my cat tonight. My cat, not my cat, comma, named tonight, but like my cat, dash, ellipses, no punctuation tonight has been. I've got some plants that are pretty darn wild over across the room. Oh, it's all washed out. You guys can't even see over there. But I've got quite a few plants in the tanks, and I do need to do a walkthrough at least update or whatnot for just to show folks like what's going on, fish room and whatnot. I think I've got 12 tanks running at the moment. Not that many compared to the 32, I think 33, 4 plus ponds at my insanity. I mean, max. Anyways. Anyhow, yeah, guys, I think I might be wrapping it up soon. We're coming up on an hour and 45. Probably wrap it up by then, because you know, if you didn't wrap it up by then, you're in trouble anyways. But hey, don't follow. Oh, somebody said they don't follow sports being from B Town. IDub. How do you think some fish and inverts would fare being ordered from Moonlight Aquatics all the way to New York? Is it wise to find a supplier close? No, he ships all over the country all the time. I think it's fine. What I would say is that I would he tries to do things all overnight, and that can get expensive, right? It can be like 60 to $100 or whatever. A lot of times there's sticker shock with him, but he'll give you the best deal price wise he can, mail wise, with the services he has, and he's not that far out of line with a lot of other shops. It's just, I think a lot of times his software gives the highest quote to like what it would be from Washington to like Puerto Rico and Guam and Alaska and Maine and Florida, literally, like zone 5.B or whatever they call it, zone 6 basically. You can't believe I'm ending the birthday stream without offering a course to buy or a cause or anything. Yeah, you know, I'm not big on selling nothing. I don't want to sell y'all nothing. I mean, I'll do some affiliate links for folks who I think are doing things the right way already in the hobby. So, like, if you need it, if you wanted it, here's where I get it, that kind of thing. But I definitely don't ever really want a brand to sell you stuff. What I will do is I will speak up a nonprofit, the Green Earth Alliance. Right now, I'm not going to say, hey, give it a bunch of money, because to be quite frank, my partner is Venezuelan, and that has made things extremely interesting for getting money back and forth / accessing that money when our whole big project is in Venezuela right now, our big focus. And so that's probably going to pump the brakes on that a little bit, just until we literally know what's going on. Because right now, at first, we thought everything was going to change, but so far, nothing has changed. The same people are in power, and they're actually taking over more of the country than before. So who knows what's going to happen with banking and stuff, but we already got the permits, we already got the work done, we've already got the fish bred. We just need to put them in the water and then pay for the follow-up study. But we don't want to do that, put them in, and then have a follow-up study and all this pre-work and months and months of well, years now, but months of research and paying ichthyologists and grad students, and I've been taking pictures and video, all of that stuff, to not be taken seriously by the ichthyological community and scientific community, because either it was pushed through with some funny business, or that it just never finished. We just said, oh, we put them back, yay, that's the end of it. That's pretty lame ending when the goal is to see how many survive at, you know, half a year, 1 year, what their breeding rates are like, because we have some of that baseline stuff elsewhere. Use XRP crypto to send money across borders. No joke. It's the easiest way to do it. Oh, tail chasers. Yeah. We have looked into that. I was able to we were able to figure it out. There is a way to do things legally. But you know, there it's funny because like Chevron, for instance, is an American company that has kept operating through Venezuela. Like on the DL, kind of, we're still buying oil this entire time from Venezuela. Like even with everything going on in Russia, Europe and America are still buying Russian oil. So there's always some way around things, even if we don't ever get to access it. But in the case of Venezuela, there are enough economic ties and like lawyers and stuff that the fact that his sister lives in Miami of all places, and well, it's not ironic because she is Venezuelan, but there are a lot of Venezuelans there, like something like 500,000 or something in Florida, and that's like where the biggest chunk of the diaspora exists, settled. Other than I think Mexico City is the other big place. Happy birthday, Hope Pink. Yeah, well, thanks guys for all the birthday wishes. It's so very kind. Also, I saw the oh, here we go. This is what I missed to put on. I wanted to toss this up. Happy birthday, Alex, from Jeff Kane. MNC Aquatics has been hosting a panel stream on Sundays. Sometimes focused on breeding fish, sometimes on generally hanging out. They've been fun. Good song, man. I like that. Is that Bon Jovi? Last little story I'll give you was I had the Dalai Lama come to Seattle. I did that. That was me. No, the University of Washington and a number of other international things lined up where both Portland and Seattle, and then later I think Berkeley, California, and maybe like San Luis Obispo or something, whatever it was. A couple places in California, and Vancouver, BC, I think too. All got in line and invited the Dalai Lama, His Holiness, the Sea, to come and speak. And he came and spoke at the University of Washington about how he believes that the heart and love and your literal heart sends messages to your brain on a neurological level. And what was interesting was that at the time they were just publishing research that had just like literally they were announcing it when he was there. And it was so cool because they had neurosurgeons and stuff there and psychologists, and basically their excitement that they were going to contribute to this thing on compassion and kindness, and where it's created is in the mind, is it in society, is it enforced through like the rule of law, or is it something that's from within us and has to be from within us, otherwise it doesn't. Anyways, it was very interesting, and we went, and when he came, this huge entourage came too of Buddhist monks from mostly Nepal, like Kathmandu, from his kind of support staff. That's the government in exile of what used to be Free Tibet, now is Chinese Tibet, and they will kill any of Dalai Lama's close inner circle if they come back to the country. So they've been in Nepal now since 46, 47. And anyhow, the people who came out, one of them was like 57, 60-ish, I would guess. And he was what we call a Geshe, which is a teacher. And he managed or was the head monk at a monastery that was very high up in Mahayana Buddhism. And he had been close with the Dalai Lama before he was the Dalai Lama, like way back. Anyways, when the last one fled Tibet as a young child, and it was a whole big deal. But anyways, they were friends during the refugee day camps or refugee camp days and stuff like that, I guess. And so he was very close to Inner Circle guy, whatever. But he brought with him a group of maybe 12 or 13, 14 monks that were younger. Some of them were as young as maybe like late teens, and some were maybe as old as early 30s or 40s. And this is talking now 22 years ago, I believe. Wait, no, wow. Okay. This is, boy, I'm going to feel old, getting older and older by the second, because I was 14. So if I'm a 39 and 14 each, yeah, 25 years ago, I guess. But basically, they came and they invited me to do a sand mandala with them. And it just happened to be that they were staying in our neighborhood when they were visiting Seattle. And I had tickets and everything because I was really interested in hearing him speak. And at that point in my life, I wasn't religious at all. And I'd pushed away from my mom's family being Jewish and my dad's family being like Lutheran, whatever you want to call them. I don't know, Scottish, liberal Scottish Christians that drank a lot still, of course. And I just didn't like any big religions that were very structurally organized, I guess, at the time. And now I have a newfound understanding and respect for, Christianity and Judaism, both, as well as a number of other religions that I checked out. But it was really cool because they asked me to, they said that they didn't know, but they were knocking on doors and they just felt that they needed to come to the door and they needed to invite whoever came to the door to come do this sand mandala ceremony over at the house they were staying at, which was a person in my parents' neighborhood who's a professor at UW. And so we did this and we did it. And I had no idea anything about this. This is early days of the internet, where you couldn't find a whole lot. If I Google sand mandala, nothing would have really come up on the internet. But I didn't know the plan or the ceremony or whatnot. And then there's a bunch of different ones. But they were sitting there and they have these metal tubes full of colored sand, like each color is like a different ground down pigment that they actually in Asia, different locations in this place called the Painted Hills of Tibet, they actually would collect. And if there's like iron oxide, that's like the orange. And, there's all these different subtle colors, a lot of earth tones and some really bright, like lapis lazuli blue, things like that. But it's ground up pigment made of minerals and stuff. And then you use this chopstick, like metal rod over a cylinder that's a long funnel, enough so that only a few grains of sand come out at a time, and you load up the back kind of like a cone. And then as you rub the side of it, it's got these ridges on it like your knuckles. And so as it hits each bump, a few little things of sand come out. So knowing the speed, you can control what you're drawing. And they asked me to just draw a knot of any sort, like a knot that has a beginning and an end. Well, I did the Celtic knot. I did not do the mission. I failed the assignment. I did the trifold Celtic knot that is an endless or eternal knot. And I spent 8 hours with them, and that was a long time when you're 14, especially, it just felt like a really long time at the time. with not speaking the same language as these guys, and I'm trying to like be respectful and nice and sit up straight, and I'm sitting with my in a kind of funky position on my crisscross applesauce sitting on my butt, and I'm there, and I'm drawing the thing, and we finish it, and they'd been working on it for at least double as long as I had. And we're standing around and we're waiting, and I'm like, what happens now? And he's like, now the big ceremony happens. Now the teacher's going to come and teach us a lesson about the mandala and about the impermanence of life, and how if you're in pain, it won't last forever, but if you're happy, it won't last forever either. And so there's an upside and a downside to it equally. But it's always going to change, and you can be sure of that. Nothing will stop that. And as a kid, I hadn't heard these things, and that's probably said in a lot of different religions, probably in Christianity, in the Bible somewhere. But to me, it was kind of like, oh, that's really interesting. And I said, like, well, I don't get it though. If you can't have any desires in your religion, how could you be a Buddhist and hit nirvana or become enlightened, if the whole point of like the whole reason of joining Buddhism is because you want to be a better person or find meaning, or stop suffering in life? Isn't that a desire in itself that's just going to let you up, or like bring you up and then let you down? And the teacher smiled, and he looked over at me and he said, you won't need Buddhism when you're ready to be the teacher. He said, you won't need any sort of organized religion. And this was right around my birthday. And I remember thinking, here's a religious leader saying he doesn't have the answer, or he doesn't have the way. Also, when I said, what do you guys believe when you die or whatever, too, I liked his answer. And it was the same as I got from a rabbi, which is, what happened before you were born? And I said, I didn't exist. I don't know. What was it like? And I said to the rabbi, I don't know, black nothingness. There was no time. I don't know. I couldn't perceive anything. I didn't exist yet. And he said, well, maybe after all of this, it's the same way. And I was so scared of the idea of there not being a heaven or hell or afterlife. But when he said that, I was like, huh, I don't sit around all day worrying about the past, about eternity before I existed. And that was nothingness. I didn't exist. And so anyways, that was one big takeaway. And the Buddhists said the same thing, like in different words. So I thought that was interesting. And the other thing they said was that you can't be a member of any religion or Buddhist philosophy. They don't consider themselves religion. They consider themselves philosophy. Because you can be a Christian Buddhist, or you can be a Muslim Buddhist. And anyways, I thought, well, I've never been told I don't have all the answers. You're going to have to, go somewhere better than me. And that's like the answer they just honestly give you. But, some people like that answer. Other people hate it. And they're like, what? You don't even know how that works? Like, I'm out of here. But I thought that was interesting. Well, anyways, to finish the birthday story of them being over on the weekend of my birthday, and this is 25 years ago, I guess. They took the mandala, and they talked the story about the impermanence, and they worked in talking about the afterlife and karma, and I don't know if I buy all of it, but it was a nice little lesson, about a half an hour long, with incense and candles outside. We were sitting on pillows out in a nice yard that was forested, kind of like a little secret garden in Seattle. And all of a sudden, I had no idea that it was coming, but the monk, his name is Geshe, which also is a word for teacher. He just takes the board that we've been working on for 16 hours, and it's the sun's going down, and he just throws all of it in the air. And I literally about yelled, "No!" But it reminds me of a super hippy dippy song in a quote from Fish, which is "Ashes to ashes." What is it? Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Or every man rise from the. How does that lyric go? Hold on one sec. And then I'll tell you the last little joke of the story. I knew this was going to take like 10, 15 minutes to tell, but do 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 do. Oh, every man rise from the ash. Each betrayal begin. Oh wait, woke up this morning to the stinging lash. Every morning rise, or every man rise from the ash. Each betrayal begins with trust. Every man returns to dust. Everything must rust. Anyways, Fish Dad, well, you know it all then, huh? I know my wife would be like, I hate that song. Shut up. It's not even a good song. It's like their most commercial song. But anyways, I had to look at the lyrics because I forgot. It's been a long time. But so yeah, they threw the thing and I was like, oh God. And these guys, if you've ever been around the true monks, like whether Gregorian or you know, some of the like Austrian monks or some of the Buddhist or what, you know, somebody who's truly devoted their life to a lot of silence and reflection and meditation and reading and putting their momentary needs, urges, feelings aside and kind of being more methodical about things, thoughtfulness and presentness of mind. What's really interesting is when you talk about things, it's almost like talking to a child. In the sense that you get a lot more things that are like, oh, that's really exciting. And you feel like that's genuine. I don't know if it is necessarily, but you know, they just haven't had a conversation with anyone about anything. So the fact that they're out visiting Seattle rather than in their monastery in the mountains, only speaking a few words here and there. And hey, that's cool. Jesus can be the way, the truth, and the life. I thought it was the light, but sure, whatever. You can that can all be fine. That's all compatible with everything that I'm saying. But what's interesting, you know, so they do the thing, they throw stuff, but they just have this like sense of wonder in a lot of very mature, I would say, you know, probably you'd think of it as that, spiritual leaders and or teachers and folks I've talked to, even just like rabbis or priests or imams, things like that, that in my life, I tend to seek those people out. If I know they're speaking somewhere or whatever, I like to talk to people who have been very reflective or who have focused on anything that they're passionate about. And I mean, sure, religion counts too. But when somebody like devotes their life to fish keeping or to being an electrician or to model trains, whatever it is, when they are just going off and they're not like trying to force anything on you, they're just literally telling you about how much they love the thing. To me, that's like the most engaging and like life affirming thing to watch. I don't care what the subject is, but someone nerding out and telling you all these intricacies about something that they love and that they've literally spent, thousands and thousands of hours engaged in and deeply thinking about, it really becomes multidisciplinary in the fact that like it has to, because it's taken over their life. So it's obviously got to take things outside the perspective of it. But what so the last little tidbit, and this all came from me just accidentally saying a little quip off the top of my head about Bon Jovi. Sorry guys, I've been standing funny because my legs and my sciatic back injury's been hurting really bad too. But the I go, have you guys been enjoying your stay? Talking to the monks at the time I thought were young. They were probably 30 and I was 14. So this is, and this is 25 years ago. So it's like the year 2000. So they would have been, 10 years old in 1990-ish, something like that, maybe 15. And I have said, what do you guys like about, America? Like, is this, that your first time here? They go, oh yeah, it's our first time here. And they go, music. And one of them had a Sony Walkman, like the 80s style tape one, the original one, not the CD one or whatever. And they had a tape in it, and I was like, oh, what are you guys listening to? And I was thinking, oh, it would be chants of, the Dalai Lama or something. They go, Bon Jovi, Wanted Dead or Alive. And they were just like, they've been talking about the meaning of life and like, the impermanence and like how, you can't take things serious and stuff. And like, later I was like, oh, what do you want if you could get anything, like if I could get you guys as a thank you for letting me be part of the ceremony and for like letting me learn a little bit about this, what could I bring you guys? And one of them goes, Bon Jovi tapes. And it's like, okay, all right, we got more Bon Jovi, I guess, that they need. They need the steel horse. I ride because I'm wanted, dead or alive. But again, it's like to them the that wasn't a little thing. That was like some big American rock star. A lot of them have probably maybe heard of them, as a kid or teenager in 1990 in India or Kathmandu. And they knew who Elvis and the Beatles were and stuff, but they Bon Jovi they thought was like the newest greatest thing, and definitely not in the year 2000. That was not the newest greatest thing. Also, Kent, thank you so much, buddy, for the Danish kroners, dropping them kroners, roll them crones. Thank you so much, buddy. That was very generous, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate everyone being here. Penguin, like that name too. I like these clever names that y'all come up with. Yeah. Anyways, guys, I will say, if you want, watch that short that I put up about the weird things that fish get up to with clams. A fish having intimate relations with a clam that has had intimate relations with the fish, and neither one is putting things where they're supposed to go, but both result in children. Freaking weird, right? Okay. The Bon Jovi twist is the best part, not the most important part. Made me smile. Thanks. Yeah, thanks, New Luke Loss. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. The other thing they wanted, Levi jeans. I guess in being that they're kind of sandwiched between India and they're from Nepal, exiled Tibetans, but some of them had been Tibetan until recently and had to leave because of practicing Buddhism, and then they came to the monastery as a way to kind of be more engaged. Anyways, but that was coming from basically Chinese rule their whole life, and so they didn't have access, especially back then, didn't have access to, you know, Western Coca-Cola and blue jeans and all that stuff. But they wanted jeans that looked like Bon Jovi's, that were like faded white and like had all the rips in them. And so they asked me and were not getting it when I was like, they're like, he must really love his jeans. He's had them so long they fall apart, you know? And I'm like, oh, it's a style. You can buy them ripped here. And they're like, why would you rip your pants? You know, like so confused. But anyway, so there's that little story, just a birthday story to tell you. And also, guys, thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm winding down mentally and physically, so I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna toss the towel in. But I appreciate you guys so much for being a part of the community and being here. And we will stream hopefully Friday. You know, usually I try to stream Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays, I'm hoping to stream closer to like maybe mornings for a while, just see how that goes, and switching up the time rather than on Fridays. Tuesdays and Fridays, ironically, I don't know how, are the literal days I have to go to doctor appointments for several, like 2 to 3 hours of my day between like driving there, checking in, blah, 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 getting my wounds wrapped and everything. So maybe the days will need to change as well if that keeps up the way it is, but no telling yet. So for now, I'll just keep you guys in the loop if anything changes as much as I can. But thank you guys for being here. And yeah, thank you for hanging out with me for a birthday stream. You know, I was kind of MIA on my actual birthday. Usually I'm sitting at home on my actual birthday. When you don't drink, it makes big parties. Like people are like, well, what are we going to do? And I'm like, oh, we could play video games. We could play like board games. We could go kayaking. And it's like, it's January in Washington. Growing up with the January birthday one, everyone's broke from the holidays or playing with the cool toys and presents they already got. And so like seeing that stuff and like, well, I can get that. I've been playing. But then I get over to Jimmy's house, and Jimmy's already tired of it by January 10th, right? After he's had it like 3 weeks. So I get to play with it then for, you know, a week or two. And then, you know, it's even lost its magic for me. But thankfully, the monks taught me that everything is impermanent. So even me being a spoiled little brat and being tired of my N64 or whatever I was probably thinking of back in the day. Okay. You changed your name again, and now I have to say Vampgaia. I was lurking. It's good to see your face alive. Take care. Happy. It's good to see you too. Good to see your face on alive, vampire woman. No, I hope you're doing well. Thank you. Oh yeah. See, not even snow is surefire in the Northwest. If it was, that would be great. And yeah, we could go sledding. We did when I got older, though. We would go inner tubing and sledding and stuff up on the pass, because you could always count on our mountains having snow. Although that's not a thing anymore. Apparently now a bunch of the pass and like ski areas and stuff don't have enough snowpack, or it's icy snowpack, or blah blah blah. Whatever the problem is this week. Alex, did you see the aurora last night? You know, I tried to see it and I didn't. People locally got great photos, but they must not have seen it with their naked eyes, because great stuff coming out with good photography. And I've set that up before, and I just wasn't in the mood to do that. Like if I could see it with my eyes, I was super up for it. because we're about as far north as like Copenhagen, or I don't know, the Midlands of England, I think, in Seattle. The rest of our country, though, you know, like Washington is farther north than, like, our capital, Olympia, is farther north than Maine on the other, like, the map, like, it curves at the top because it goes along the 54th parallel, right? Or 54th. What, I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna just start saying incorrect things now. But you guys, 2 days before Christmas, that's a rough birthday time too. I feel it. Scotland is Alaska north. Yeah, I know some of it gets really, it's amazing how far north, you know, some of Scandinavia and stuff is when you look on the map, because, Seattle, let's see here, Seattle, parallel latitude. So it is 47.6, 48. Is that the one I'm thinking of? 48. 54. I'm thinking of all the North Korean stuff and South Korean stuff and the Russians and Cold War crap. Don't ask why that popped up in my head, other than we didn't start the fire, it was always burning since the world's been churning, and we didn't start the fire. Yeah, no, we're more like, actually, no, we're not in the Midlands. We are down more like Paris, I guess, in Washington. Or, well, let's see, let me draw the line right across the country. We're more like London, exactly, actually, here, or Vancouver, BC. But yeah, not so far north. But you guys get moderated by the smaller ocean. The Pacific's freaking huge, so it gets colder in the, like, Bering Sea and the Gulf, up there. I mean, obviously the north, obviously your Arctic Ocean, your North Sea is pretty nasty at times as well. But being that the Pacific Ocean's huge, and it's actually relatively shallow up by the Bering Sea, the Aleutian Islands and stuff off Alaska. Yeah, you know, freezing sea ice and icebergs and all that jazz. Pretty wild. It's all breaking up anyways, though. All right, guys. Budget Bonsai, what's up? Semi-Feral Jill, what's up? Okay. Let me get out of here now after I say, Budget Bonsai, thank you for the super chat. That is very kind of you. I appreciate it. Dog. That's a dog. Catcher, that's a dog. Catcher, that's a dog. Catcher, that's a dog. Bow wow wow. Yippee yo, yippee yay, bow wow wow. I'm looking at, yes, Scotland is like the very southern part of Alaska. But even like Sweden and Finland are not as far north as like Fairbanks and stuff. So like Alaska's freaking huge. It goes, I don't know, 2,000 miles up and down, from the way it has like this skinny coastline that goes all the way down. Yeah, go look at a longitude or latitude, like what's on the same thing, and then follow it around the world too, and see like what's opposite side of the globe of you. Always fascinating stuff. All right, you guys, I'm getting out of here. Oh, nice. We got, somebody said, here's some music for you. Is it a Rickroll? I hope it's a Rickroll. I hope I'm getting Rickrolled right here. No, I'm going to open it up and check it out. And Brian also chiming in with Atomic Dog. Bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay, bow wow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay. Okay, guys, my cat is over there on the windowsill saying, "Feed me, Seymour. Meow, food." All right, guys, have a wonderful night. Thank you, and happy birthday to me. But thank you to you for being you and for putting up with me and my craziness, sticking around. through my little lull in production output. It'll be back, I promise. And there's 2,000 plus videos out there in existence. I bet you haven't seen them all. If you have a problem. But if you haven't, you have an even bigger problem. You got to see them. You can go look through those while I'm making more, and I promise I'll be back soon. All right, you guys have a wonderful night, and thanks, guys. All you lurkers, future watchers, time travelers, people who are here early, people who are here late, people who are members, people who aren't members. You can become a member. Welcome, become a member. I'd love it. And yeah, all right. Happy birthday to me. Happy life to all of y'all and all your fishes. And we'll chat again in a couple days. Much love, guys. Thanks again. Bye. Bye, bye, bye. All right. Turn down for what? Do. Okay, how do I log off? Can I log off this? Oh, Sunny, thank you so much. Sunny, also, I'm going to say this while I'm still on here. Sunny gave me quite the kind PayPal gift, super chat, we'll call it, of 50 doll hairs. That is really, really kind. Thank you so much. That is so generous. We'll put it to good use. You know, I need to get, I was already going to get some, but I need to get some submerged, Hygrophila pinnatophyta European or UK red, like in parentheses, because I want it to look like embers burning on a stick in the fire. And the whole aquascape I want to do loosely will resemble a campfire of early humans, which freshwater protein and scavenging and gathering is probably what made us unique in this species we are and in the culture, and maybe even like allowed us to talk and have big brains and all sorts of craziness. It's a whole talk I've given at the Seattle Club. If you're a member online, you can access it. Also, I've given that talk as a live stream before too, so that's out there somewhere. But all right, I'm out of here for real this time. Oh, Gnarly Treebeard, thank you very kindly. We got one more super chat. I guess I'll take it. Thank you, Gnarly Treebeard. That is really kind of you. I'm sorry, I'm just like leaving you in the lurch, in the larch, as it were. Tree beard, get it? I would liken it. Get it? Beard, lichen, trees. All right, yeah, it's time for me to leave. Okay. Thank you so much, though. I do appreciate it. All right. Bye, guys. Have a wonderful night, and see you later. Sue me the cat. You are the best. Where is my cat?